going on YouTube? How's everybody today? It's very good to hear. Today I want to review one of Southern Lord Records' newer releases. This is slated to come out in September, I guess. It's the collaboration between Boris and Ian Astbury. It's called BXI. It's a 4-song EP. It's only 20 minutes long, and it's pretty much just Ian Astbury singing over some Boris riffs and stuff like that. It's definitely Boris's most straight-ahead material I've ever heard. Boris, if you don't know, is a Japanese heavy metal band. They're like musical chameleons, really. They do tons of collaborations. They've been around for 15 years. They've released albums of noise, drone, straight up heavy metal. They've collaborated with classical pianists and noise artists, and they released an awesome album with Sun, the drone metal Sun, called Alter. I suggest everyone go check out Alter. That album is pure evil. On here, they're just collaborating with the lead singer of the Cult, Ian Astbury. He started off in a band called Southern Death Cult. He did a stint as the lead singer of The Doors for a little while. Story goes that Ian was a fan of Boris, thought these guys are really talented, which they are. And they played some shows, I guess, in Australia, or at least in Sydney, Australia, which I know for sure they did, because they got Boris to come on stage and play a song and had Ian sing over it. They sang a cover of the Doors song, The End. And so I guess that's what spawned this 4-song EP. Like I said in the beginning, this is probably Boris's most straight-ahead material. They seem to be very held back by this project. They're not really achieving their full potential. Like, the songwriting chops are still there, the riffs are still somewhat creative. You can't really tell it's Boris. He doesn't really have like the Boris distinct sound, or whatever the hell that is. Like, it's good. They're still, you know, they're still very talented artists. They're doing the best with the material they have to work with, I guess. It just sounds kind of restrained. And Ian singing, like, he does have a very distinct voice. He's like you know, an old 80s hard rock icon. His Cult band's on and off again, but they're still together, I guess. They're still doing shows and stuff. They're still releasing output and stuff like that. Still around. But the music on here, like the singing, doesn't really complement the music all that well, in my opinion. It just kind of sounds like Boris were big Ian fans. Ian liked their music, decided to try to do a 4-song EP. With mixed results. Like, Boris's band is not afraid to experiment and try new things, and I always commend them for doing that, for not being, you know, scared to try new things. They don't really give a shit what anybody really thinks. They want to do whatever they want, regardless if it's an album with this pure harsh noise or a drone album with Sun, and, you know, always mixed results. But you can always tell these guys are very talented. But Ian singing is just kind of over the top, over emotive. It's kind of, I don't know, his lyrics aren't that great. There's songs about being a victim and a witch and love will be there and let's storm the gates of heaven. You know, it's kind of trite. I don't know, I didn't really dig it. I don't know a lot about Ian, but I can tell I'm not a really big Cult fan. I don't know, crucify me. My favorite song of the album is actually a song where they got the female member of Boris to sing. Her name is, I think it's pronounced Wata, and they do a cover of the song called The Rain by the Cult, and it's probably my favorite track on here. I don't know if it's the most mellow song, because the last song in here is kind of a ballad. But I don't know, it's just nice to hear a voice and not hear Ian singing. Maybe that's the only thing I liked about it. I don't know, but definitely not Boris's best release yet. It doesn't really show Boris's full potential. I don't know if it shows Ian Astbury's full potential. I don't really care. Maybe it does. Like, I can't say he has a bad singing voice or it sounds terrible. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't really go well with this kind of music. I'd say the only people who could probably hang with this album are really, really hardcore Boris fans or Cult fans, but I don't know. Like, a lot of Boris's earlier stuff is 100 times better than this album was. Not to say it's bad. Like, the musicianship on here is really good for some straight-ahead hard rock stuff with a little hint of, you know, metal and sludge in there, a little bit of that, but nothing too crazy, nothing overtly creative going on here. Yeah, Cult fans only. I can't really think of too much else to say on it, just other than the Boris don't really bring the noise here. They're not bringing the ruckus they usually do. Not mind-blowing. I picked this up at a Boris concert I went to last week, I should mention, and I was just checking out their merch booth, because if you go to a Boris show, they've got merch galore. They've got like billions of albums there, stuff you've never even seen. They're all like $10 to $25. This is a $10 album. It said it wasn't out to September. It said Ian Astbury on the cover, but I couldn't remember who Ian Astbury was at the top of my head. For some reason I thought maybe he was in Blur or some like European band. He lives in Vancouver, so I think he's Canadian, but I was thinking something from the UK. I totally couldn't remember who the hell he was. I was very disappointed to find out it was the Cult guy. I was like, fuck. But I don't know, I went into this album with an open mind, wasn't that impressed with it. Boris Live, wow, it's so good. Boris Live blows your mind, but this album, not too mind-blowing. Stephen O'Malley, the record label owner of Southern Lord, designed the artwork on here. It's just a blurry picture of a wolf. It's not that my camera can't focus on it, it's just a blurry ass picture. And then we get a little taboo sun on the back. Some girl with rolled up eyes and some, I don't know, full frontal nudity there for the kids. The lyric sheet, picture of the dudes chilling. But yeah, I don't know, BXI, not the best thing I've ever heard Boris release, that's for sure. Released in 2010 on Southern Lord Records. I don't know.